if Twitch doesn't count you as a viewer if you have a certain number of tabs open, why can't Twitch just tell us what that number actually is? Why can't they just be honest and just give the community an actual number? For the platform, it would be A, impossible, and B, damaging. And I'll tell you why. For starters, let me just continue to reiterate the most basic information that we can safely rely on. 2, sometimes 3. That's the most correct answer for the vast majority of people. Now let's get into the weeds just a little bit on why it's impossible to offer a clear answer. And just to be clear that these are not exact, this is just for illustrative purposes, okay? Let's start with, again, it's 2, sometimes 3, but occasionally 4 because of where you might be watching. If you're watching TV on one, a phone on another, and then you have 2 tabs on your PC, that might be 4. That probably relies on the context of the devices that you're watching on and your IP addresses and so forth. But actually, maybe it's more like 6 because you have family members and they have their own Twitch accounts and they're watching streams on their own devices, on their own accounts. And in that case, Twitch probably considers the context of viewing habits or account activity as a key indicator. But actually, maybe it's more like 20 or 30 streams because you might be watching Twitch at a coffee shop or a school or a library, and other people are logged in and watching Twitch as well. So there's a whole bunch of other things that they have to consider there. And that kind of potential variation in viewership likely has dozens of other use cases, context, and other things to consider, such as TV and laptops and mobile devices and third-party players and embeds and so forth. There's just a ton of context that adds detail to that overall number. But let's say we live in a world where Twitch decide to make that all public, tell you exactly why, when, and where you count as a viewer. Maybe they even launch a thing on site that says you're counting as a viewer more than just the generalized view count that they already have. Well, now we're talking about the damaging aspect of that, because by giving out that kind of information in greater detail, they would effectively be handing out a blueprint to viewbotters on how their services need to act in order to not get caught, which for creators would be even more damaging, and for the platform's future would probably end up resulting in its continued decline.